Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Market Watch for the week of March 7th through the 13th. I'm Jason Zwolak of the Zwolak Group with First Team and Christie's International Real Estate. Hope you're all having a great week. Hopefully you're surviving the panic that's going on with the coronavirus. Hopefully everybody's safe. Hopefully everybody is healthy. And hopefully you guys are having a good weekend, most likely inside, but hey, hopefully you're enjoying some family time together. So for those of you tuning in for the first time, each week I take a look at what's happening in the Irvine and Orange County housing market as a whole, and then I break the Irvine housing market down into three separate sections: first-time home buyer, step-up, and luxury. So let's get right into it, not waste any more time. Let's take a look at what happened in Orange County last week. So in Orange County last week, we had 498 homes sell. That was actually a big jump from 440 last week. So we saw 58 more homes sell. In that same time, we saw inventory jump up slightly. We had inventory right now. Current inventory is 4,245 homes, up from 4,174 homes last week. This is our highest inventory to date for 2020, so that is a good sign for buyers out there. We're starting to see a few more homes come on the market. It's not as much as we'd like, but hey, you know what? We'll take anything right now when it comes to our supply. The average days on market for the homes that have sold is 44 days. That is actually up slightly from last week. Last week it was 37. The average sales list price was just over $1,019,000. The average sales price is just over $1 million, with a list to sold average of 98.1%. Very similar to last week. Last week was 98.3%. So some similar numbers across the board here. But the one thing that we did notice is we saw a big jump in inventory supply, but we also saw a jump in demand. So they're kind of neck and neck. So even though we saw some more homes come on the market, we actually saw a jump in that demand as well, so more homes being sold. So really those homes that are coming on, they're being swept up, especially if they're aligned properly, if they're priced right, if they're in great condition, and if they're marketed well. We're really seeing them go really fast. So that's something to keep in mind as a buyer. You don't want to miss out. One of the things that we always suggest is do your diligence before. If you know you're going to see an open house, say on Saturday, on Thursday, drive the house. On Friday, do some research, make sure it's in the right school district, things like that. And then that way, if you go in, you see the house, boom, you can write an offer right on the spot. And if you have a good strategy for writing competitive offers, you'll be able to get that house. So just a few little tips there for our buyers out there. So that's what's happening in Orange County. So let's take a look at what's happening in Irvine now to see if there's any similarities. So in Irvine this week, we saw the 53 homes sell versus 42 last week. So again, we saw a good jump in the number of homes sold. This is where we did see some change. In Orange County, we saw a little bump in inventory. In Irvine, it was pretty much the same. We have 498 homes currently on the market. There was 496 last week. So we saw 2 more homes on the market compared to last week, but we saw 11 more homes sell. So net, we're actually down in inventory here in Irvine. The average list price was $1,095,532. Average sold price $1,082,720, with a list to sold average of 98.9%, which is our highest to date, which is amazing. Another crazy stat, if you look at this, the average days on market is 68 for the homes that are currently active, but 35 days for the homes that are sold. Compare that to last week. Last week it was 72 for the homes that are on the market and 51 for the homes sold. So the average days on market for the 53 homes that sold this week was 35 days. That is insane. It's so hot. It's a month A month from the time that the house hits the market to the time it closed, 35 days. So that means if you're looking at a 30-day escrow, the home is on the market for 5 days. A lot of times these homes come on the market before their first showings. So these are really selling that first weekend. The first open house, first set of showings, the homes are selling. The ones that are aligned properly, which is really crazy. Now, it will be interesting to see what happens, especially with what we're dealing with the coronavirus, with this pandemic, because how is this going to affect housing? Rates are so volatile right now. Everything's volatile, the stock market. So we really don't know what's going to happen. We saw a big jump in rates over the course of the last week, simply because people are trying to limit the amount of refis and things like that are happening. But how will it affect the housing market is still yet to be seen. I've been talking to agents. I've been talking to buyers. Buyers are still wanting to find the houses, and agents are still seeing good traffic at open houses. But will we see that diminish? Time will tell. We're going to have to really keep an eye on that, and I'll definitely get that information over to you guys as soon as I do find out. So that's what's happening in Orange County and Irvine. So now we take a look at the 3 sub-markets in Irvine. The first of that being the first-time home buyer market, which is anything from $0 to $750,000. So let's take a look and see what happened in our first-time home buyer market. So the first-time home buyer market, right now we have 107 homes that are currently on the market. That's up slightly from last week. Last week we had 101, so we did see a little bit of a bump in our first-time home buyer inventory. The number of solds was 20 versus 18 last week, so that one's pretty much very similar. The average days on market, again, we noticed some similarities with Irvine. We had 53 days is the average days on market for the 107 homes that are currently active. The 20 homes that sold, average days on market, 38. So that's down from 47 last week. So that is almost a 20-25% drop in days on market for our sold homes in the first-time home buyer market. This is always a hot category simply because there's not a lot of homes in this price point in Irvine. So when these do come on the market, they're usually snatched up quick throughout the course of the year. This is just even stronger, a stronger market. So we're really seeing those homes fly off the shelves. And again, to have 37 days on market for that is pretty insane. So you really have to be on it in this market as well, just like the other categories, to really be prepared to write that offer as soon as you find the house that you like and make it a competitive offer and have a strategy for that. So we're really seeing, again, a strong market in the first-time home buyer. So now the second market that we look at is the step-up market. The step-up market is anything from $750,000 to $1.25 million. And we call it the step-up because typically we see people buying in this category that are maybe moving from their first home, a condo, a townhome. They're moving up to a single-family home. That's their next step. I understand in Irvine you will have some first-time home buyers in this category as well. I definitely understand that, but for the sake of this show, this is how we kind of break it down to get this information over to you guys. So let's take a look at what happened in the step-up category. So the step-up category, we had 199 homes on the market, up slightly from 196 last week, where we saw a huge jump. We had 9 homes sell last week, 22 homes sell this week. So that was quite the jump in the step-up market. The average days on market for the the current inventory is 53. The average days on market for the 22 homes that sold is 32, which is, again, insane. It's actually lower than the Irvine market. We're looking at that month from the time that it hits the market to the time that it closes. So again, amazingly strong market. This is usually our bread and butter here in Irvine. A lot of homes fall in this price point, so we're seeing a lot of movement here, and again, a really strong market right now. Yet to be seen what will happen, but you know what? We got to look at what's happening now, and we'll just keep an eye on things so we can try to adjust as we move forward, going through this coronavirus outbreak. So. Now that we've taken a look at the first-time home buyer and the step-up, let's take a look at the luxury side, which is anything over 1.25 million. Okay, so there's a big range here. Typically what we see is the buyer pool drops here, so you won't see as many homes sell, but let's take a look and see what happened in our luxury market. So in the luxury market, we saw we have 192 homes that are currently on the market. That's down from 199 last week. We did see a slight dip in sales. Sales this week, we had 11 homes close in this price point. So you can see that's about half of what the others are, and that's pretty indicative of what has happened. We did have an anomaly last week, but other than that, it's pretty strong where you're going to see at least, this number is usually about at least half, and it's just simply there's not as many buyers looking in this price point. The average days on market, this is actually pretty impressive. The average days on market for the 192 active homes was 93 days. That's pretty similar to what we've seen. Last week was 96, the week before 95. So we've seen that 90 in the 90s hover for those active market. Where we really saw a jump was those 11 homes that sold in the luxury category. The average days on market was 37. That's 30 days, a full month less than what happened last week. Last week we had 15 homes sell, was 67 days average days on market. This week, 11 homes, and their average days on market for those 11 homes, 37 days. That's crazy, especially when we see that in the luxury market. The luxury market, typically, those homes do sit a little bit longer. Simple math, there's not as many buyers. When there's not as many buyers, you're not going to get as many, there might not be as much interest in that certain price point, so your home's going to sit for a little bit. You don't have to worry, it's just you have to be educated so you know your eyes are kind of open going in, right? So I think it's just indicative of how strong this market is right now that we're seeing these insane days on market time and days on market of hovering around a month, even in the luxury side for those closed sales. Now, we're still seeing the active market in the 90s, and that could be a couple things. Again, higher price point, 100%. That does affect it, but also might not be aligned properly. I talk about alignment every week on this show, and alignment is so important. Pricing correctly. So you still want to be at fair market value. Look at the comps, run those, make sure that your agent's running those comps and getting a fair market value. And this doesn't just go for luxury, this goes across the board. This goes to all of the categories, all homes in every area in the country. You need to make sure that you're aligned. So pricing is number one. Marketing, make sure that the agent that you hire is marketing properly. You want to get it out to as many buyers as possible. That is so important. Increase your buyer pool, the higher number of people that see the home, increase your exposure. That's going to drive demand. It's going to increase your price. Simple economics, and that will work for any commodity that you sell. And housing is a commodity, right? That's number two. Number three is condition of the home. People are still wanting to do model. If you're going to go for top dollar, it needs to look right. You need to clean it. Make sure it's cute. We like to call it Q-tip clean, declutter, depersonalize. If needed, stage, do any deferred maintenance. Make that house look perfect. You might invest $10,000 or $12,000 in that house to get a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 return. So who wouldn't do that? That's great money that you could do. And if you have the means to do that, it's great. And if you don't, we've got a great program for you that I'll do a video on later. It's called our First Team Concierge. Amazing. Contact me and I will let you know all about that. I will do a video on that later on, but a great new program we started. Super excited, and it's just so great for all of our sellers out there. So, but if you have any questions about that now, you can reach out to us directly. So really that's what's happening in the market right now. Again, there's a lot of volatility with the rates and everything because of the coronavirus, and I think that's something that we really have to take into account and what we're going to be looking at going forward. Like I said, what's our traffic going to be in our open houses? Buyers, are they still wanting to get out there and look at homes? From what we've talked to, the answer to that is yes. They still want to find a house if they're still looking. They may have their rates locked right now when before they went up, so they're on the clock, if you will, about trying to find a place. But I think we'll see rates come back down eventually. But right now, we're just seeing it that volatility really leak over to the mortgage world, and we'll just have to see what happens. I'm talking to other agents to find out how their open houses are and see how things are going. So again, once I get this information, I'll pass it off to you. So I talked about rates a little bit. So let's take a look at what happened in the mortgage world. And these rates were as of yesterday. And again, these are not the APR. So this is the actual interest rate. Any closing costs or things like that will be added to this. So it'll bump those rates up again. But these are the rates as of yesterday. So let's take a look at those. So the conforming 15-year fix was 3.375. Conforming 30-year fixed, 4.25%. That's up almost a full percentage point from last week. Conforming 7/1 ARMs, the adjustable is 3.5%. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 3.625%. Jumbo 7/1 ARM, 2.875%. The FHA 30-year fix, 4.99%. Huge jump there. And for our veterans, the 30-year fix is 4.125%. So we definitely saw a huge jump in these numbers. We actually did a refi for us. Well, we locked it in on Monday at 3.375%. Wednesday, the rate was 4.75% for refis. So luckily we got in. I'm so happy about that. But it shows the volatility that we're seeing right now. So hopefully this is a great video for you guys to keep your finger on the pulse of the market. That's our goal here, really, to let you guys know what's happening each week. If you do like the video, make sure that you subscribe, hit the little bell so you're notified every time I shoot a new video. I do this every week, so it's every weekend. I try to do it on Saturdays so that you have that Friday. I pull those numbers in, so I'm looking at numbers that are going from Saturday to the following Friday video, and then I get this video out to you guys on Saturday. So again, if you have any questions, please let us know. If you have questions about listing your home, the market is still hot, so you still want to get into that. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions. If you're a buyer looking for a good strategy, not only to find the home, but to win in a multiple offer situation, make sure you let us know, because if your agent doesn't have a good strategy, you will lose and you'll get frustrated. And that's the last thing we want. We want you guys to win as much as possible. So reach out if you have any questions. I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe out there, everybody. I hope everyone is well. I guess if you're staying inside, hopefully you guys find some good Netflix shows and watch my videos. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.